you turn it on and you'll see it goes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I can hold it from like this length, I think. It's pretty loud from here anyway. Yeah. Good. I think so.
Okay, and then there's no feedback.
Thank you.
Okay, so you brought welcome music in this time to start off with, but we got to get the meeting just started, and then we'll go back to something that sounds a heck of a lot better than me.
That's fair.
All right, so can I get a second for that? Thanks. All right, notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 7 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, in Cafeteria B of Westfield High School, 550 Dorian Road, Westfield, New Jersey. Purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the Board, to transact any other business to come before the Board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct it to be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, December 12, 2024, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap into Westfield, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Patty, quick roll call, please.
Rob Bonaccio.
Here.
Kent Diamond.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Charles Jelinas.
Here.
Layla Morelli. Sonal Patel.
Here.
Kristen Sonic Schmeltz.
Here.
Julie Steinberg.
Here.
Mary Wickens.
Here.
Okay, we're going to do a quick flag salute that I will start, and then back to the fun stuff. Okay, now back to the good stuff. Hello, welcome to everyone. We have a full house today and reason to celebrate tonight both. Before we turn to the celebration of our amazing fall athletic teams, we're thrilled to have members of the Westfield High School Chorale, who have started this meeting for us, provide a musical performance for the holiday season under the skilled leadership of Director of Choirs John Brzezowski. Let's go to it.
around. Baby, please come home. The church bells in town are ringing in song, full of happy sounds. Baby, please come home. They're singing Deck the Halls, but it's not like Christmas at all. I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. Pretty lights on the tree, watching them shine. You should be here with me. Baby, please come home. They're singing Deck the Halls, but it's not like Christmas at all. I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. If there was a way, I'd hold back this year, but it's Christmas Day. Please, 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 baby, please go home. Baby, please go home. Baby, please go home. Baby, please go home.
All right, one more round of applause. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. All right. All right. One last thanks to the to our singers and to Mr. Brzezowski. That was absolutely fantastic. We're now going to move to our athletic recognitions, and we're going to start with girls soccer. I know you guys have another place to go afterwards, so we'll get started. We're going to begin tonight with our girls soccer team, who are Group 4 state champions. Oh, come on. This is the program's 4th state title and its first since 2021. I know you're moving on to Town Hall to be recognized there as well, so I will leave it to your coach to share some words about your exciting season. But first, we'll call you up. As I call your name in alphabetical order, please come up to receive a certificate of recognition from Dr. Gonzalez and proceed onto the stage to await a photograph. Sophia Boschio. Come on up.
We got practice.
Oh, she had practice. Okay. Emily Cadigan. See what we get. I think some are at practice, I understand. So, but everybody gets a name. Victoria Corcoran. Olivia Di Gregorio. Maren Fowler. Lauren Fury. Erin Hazard. Andy Janota. Phoebe Clegg. Hang on. I know I skipped one name. Ava Jacina, sorry. Mary Lane. Molly McDermott. Georgia Morelli. Practice. All right. Brooke Morrison. Maya Nair. Catherine Oliveira. Nina Rodriguez. Amy Rollins. Callie Schmidt. Olivia Thornton. Audra Toth. And Ashley Yenawine. Also practice. Also want congratulations to Coach Chris Carson. Come on up. Coach Bernie Cuddy. Coach Katie Wertheimer. And head coach Alex Schmidt. Coach Schmidt, when you're ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'll make this quick. So the team finished 20-1. Watch-on conference champions, Union County tournament champions, North 2 Group 4 sectional champions, and state champions. So they got all four. So as you said, so 88, 89, 2021, 2024. So 4 state championships in 40 years, in about 40 years. The team finished 5th in the state. And in a couple polls, they finished 10th nationally. So this is the 4th consecutive year that they're the Union County Team of the Year, and this is the 3rd out of the last 4 years that we had the Union County Player of the Year as well. So all stats which we love, but I'd be remiss if I'm just going to say a little bit about our team. So the roster featured a mix of talent. We had 2 freshmen, 7 sophomores, 7 juniors, and 5 seniors. And the senior class, 4 of which are here, if you guys just step forward really fast: Lauren Fury, Brooke Morrison, Olivia Thornton, Captains Erin Hazard, and Audra Toth. The 5 seniors, as we always talk about, we talk about leaders, but the 5 seniors set the tone for us. They led not by being the loudest in the room, but by truly understanding what the team and the individuals needed and when they needed it most. Their ability to listen, to know the right tone when they spoke, to choose the words wisely, allowed them to connect with their teammates in a meaningful way. I hope other senior athletes in the room, but I hope all the coaches can say in this room as well, as proudly as our coaching staff, as Coach Wertheimer and I, that watching these seniors, the 4 that are here, and Audra, grow into leaders was truly transformational for us. Not just this year, but their path throughout the entire program. Their maturity, leadership inspired their teammates to perform their best in creating this unified culture, and no team wins a championship, let alone 4 championships, without tremendous leadership. So the entire team, to the 5 seniors, we thank you for a tremendous year.
All right, next up is our girls' tennis team, who captured, go ahead, oh yeah, tennis team. Who captured the North 2 Group 4 sectional title. Before we hear some of the accolades from Coach Jordan, please come forward as I call your name alphabetically to receive a certificate and proceed onto the stage for a photograph. First is Alexa Block. Mahika Dang. Natalie Dabowski. Ava Holtzman. Haley Kahn. Emma Legaspi. Anna Luxinger. Julissa Mijalewski. Julia O'Brien. Abby Pizarro. Gisela Rittenhouse. Lauren Rosak. Caden Stanek. And Bianca Vasuna. Also, please come up, Coach Brooke Stites and Head Coach Samantha Jordan. And Coach Jordan, when you're ready, you can make a few remarks at the podium.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Well, those were two tough acts to follow, but you know what? We are here, and I'm so proud to be. We were here 2 years ago as sectional winners, and it's nice to be back here again. We had a very successful season. We were 12-7. We were third in the county. Our second doubles were county champions, and of course, we have this wonderful award. I'd also like to thank all the girls for the hard work and all of their families. As you can see, we're not a very big team, but we are one strong family, and that's due to the girls and to their families. And I'd also like to thank Coach Stites. She did a phenomenal job with JV, and Jim DeSorno. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Also capturing the North 2 Group 4 sectional title is our girls volleyball team. We look forward to hearing a few highlights of your season from Coach Torok, but first, please come up as your names are called in alphabetical order and move on to the stage. Katerina Karyanopoulos. Madeline Cohen. Kira Deignan. Amelia Dengler. Kelsey Dix. Sophia Druskowski. Ava Gaspard. Faith Gorski. Audrey Hu. Julia Janisek. Grace Moore. Vicky Mori. Sabrina Muller. Neva Patel. Audrey Stack. And Lillian Wood. Also like to invite up Coach Megan Mondin. Coach Ed Saggio. And Head Coach Beverly Torok. Coach, the podium's yours when you're ready.
On behalf of the Westfield High School volleyball team, we appreciate being honored tonight by the Board of Education. We are particularly proud of our season's achievements because there were times this season when we were challenged. This is why I don't do this with the phone. When we were challenged and didn't always end up on the winning side of the stick. Through perseverance, hard work, and belief, we found our way. We also worked through an extremely difficult situation when our brother, Brandon Genlot, and our biggest fan passed away. We had to find inner strength to continue, and somehow we did. I swear, he was blowing some balls over the net to guide us to win the state semifinal and earn the right to go to the state finals. Those were tough times, and we all learned a lot from that and worked through it together. Our culture has been created over many years of dedication of our athletes and our coaches, and this season was a sectional three-peat, and for that, we are very proud. Thank you, girls, for believing in the process, and thank you, coaches, for giving your time and energy to this program. And you have made it what it is today. Specifically, coaches, JV coach and top technician Ed Saggio, volunteer coach Patty Oslislow, freshman coach David Tarullo, 8th grade coach Chrissy Cabrales, and volunteer coach Megan Mondin. Megan was by my side this whole season and made a world of difference, giving the girls a view from experience. Thank you to our coaches, and we say goodbye to our seniors as they pass the torch to the underclassmen. Seniors, if you'll step forward when I call your name. Maddie Cohen. Tri-captains, Sabrina Muller, Kira Degnan, and Katie Karanopoulos. Thank you, girls, for a great season, and I look forward to next year already.
Well, boys cross country is here tonight as sectional champions as well. I also want to acknowledge the team went on to place fourth at the Meet of Champions, which combines every private and public school across New Jersey into one race. We're glad to be able to recognize you tonight and to hear more from Coach Stafelsky. Again, we'll call each of you up in alphabetical order to receive your certificate and move on to the stage. First, Christian Buonapane. Ryan Daly. Alex Stavloros. Nikos Stavloros. Jack Hill. Caleb Stockman. Brody Torriello. And Cole Varner. Also want to invite up Coach Muller and head coach Chris Stafelsky. Coach Stafelsky, you know the drill.
Thank you so much for taking the time to recognize all of our athletes tonight. This really, like everything that we've seen, is a community effort between the athletes, the coaches, the administration, community. Really, like, it's just everybody throwing their contributions in, and these results come from people who commit to long-term growth, and that's what these guys have done over the year. You know, this was a year that we had a lot of question marks coming in. We graduated a number of kids who kind of hogged the varsity spots for a really long time, and you only get 7 varsity spots on a cross-country team, and 6 of them last year were seniors. So we were fortunate that we had some really strong senior leadership this year. Ryan, Jack, and Cole and Caleb did a tremendous job leading these guys. Even when they themselves had a lot to learn, they did a terrific job of instructing themselves and one another. And there's 7 guys up here. We had 84 guys on the cross country team this year. So this isn't just an act of leadership within this small group. We had, I think, 24 ninth graders, which was one of the biggest freshman groups we've ever had. And they needed a lot of instruction too. Most of our kids don't come with any experience in the sport. So they have a lot to learn, and with just me and Kyle Muller to instruct, it really does fall on the shoulders of these guys to bring them along and show them what it takes, and directly instruct them, but also model, what it takes to work hard on a really long timeline and get results like these. And not everything went our way. These guys, we won the county championship for the first time in a long time. It's been like 5 or 6 years since we won counties. Winning the sectional was a little nerve-wracking because we went in with only 6 guys instead of 7, and we called up Nikos to run in that race, and the guys did a terrific job pulling that victory out. We had a setback at the Group 4 championship. We didn't do as well as we hoped to in that race, but they rallied really well to finish 4th at the state meet of champions, which is something that nobody would have picked Westfield team to do at the beginning of the season. But they were well led. They worked hard. They believed in themselves. They weren't fazed by setbacks, and they have a lot to be proud of. And the beauty of what we do is we don't have to wait a year to get back at it. We're already going at it, getting ready for the winter. So thank you so much.
All right, to introduce our final athlete to be recognized, and thank you for your patience, I will quote from a December 16th report by High's Eyes Sports. She is the first ever female Blue Devil to win the individual state sectional championship. She individually qualified for the Meet of Champions in 2024. She was the Rookie of the Year in 2024. She competed at the New Balance Nationals for the Spring Medley Relay, breaking the Westfield High School record. Senior Anna Kylish is etched into Westfield High School history. So let me welcome and congratulate Anna Kylish, a girls cross country North 2 Group 4 sectional champion. Please come forward to accept your certificate and move on to the stage for a photograph. Coaches Bacino and Berardi, please come forward as well, and I invite Coach Berardi to say a few words.
Berardi's not here.
Okay.
Hi, thank you.
So,
I'm stepping in, so forgive me. But Anna and I actually have some history too, and she's a pretty special person in my life. When she was in the elementary school, Tamacos, where I teach, I told her she should run. And then when she finally did come out, I just looked at her and she went, oh, because I could say I told you so. And I'm glad that you did, and I know you enjoyed your experience. And she's going to continue this in college. Can I share? She's going to be running at Bucknell. Sorry, I didn't have permission. I want to make sure. But she was our number one runner all season. She ran in 18:55 on the Greystone course at the sectional meet, which is very impressive. So I wish her all the best, and she earned it. She works very hard, and she's an awesome, awesome teammate to the rest of the girls on the team. She really is. So congratulations.
all right, well, that was fantastic. Now it's our turn. We'll start with announcements. CJ, do you have an announcement? Sure.
Congratulations to the following students for being accepted into the All-Eastern Honor Choirs. Students are chosen based on their scores from their respective All-State choirs. The All-Eastern Choirs consist of students from the southernmost state of Maryland all the way up to Maine. Our Westfield High School choral musicians will perform with this prestigious choir in Hartford, Connecticut at the end of April. Mixed chorus, Charlotte Cotroneo, Garrett Gow, Olivia Marino. Treble chorus, Hannah Forbes, Caitlin D'Alessandro, Nadia Rigo. Additionally, 20 Westfield High School vocalists have been accepted into the 2025 Region 2 Chorus. Congratulations to the following students and to choral director John Brzezowski. These students will perform in Monroe Township at the end of January. Treble chorus, Emily Bailey, Nikita Bott, Valentina Chuchi, Olivia Marino, Luella Mockby, Mia Sacco. Mia also placed third in Soprano 2. Apologies, Mia, if I mispronounced. Leah Turetsky. Mixed chorus, Charlotte Cotroneo, Mark D'Angelo, Kelsey Dix, Parker Ebert, Hannah Forbes. Hannah placed second in Soprano 2. Ella Hartz, Owen Ing, Kira Lenzner. Kira received fifth place in Alto 2. Tom Moshier, Mia Nuzo, Kiran Patel. Kiran received fifth place in Bass 1. Nadia Rigo. Nadia placed second in Alto 2. And finally, Emily Tessitore. Again, apologies if I mispronounced.
Julie? Yep.
3 Westfield High School students have been recognized with the Lift While You Climb Award. This award honors the late Westfield High School principal, Dr. Derek Nelson, who once said, "We have an obligation to our fellow human beings that if we are in a position to help someone, you do it. You lift as you climb." Congratulations to 12th grader Ethan Selvers and 11th graders Chloe Martin and Jose Flores Rodriguez for this important recognition.
Layla?
Congratulations to Westfield High School 12th grader Sophia Basaldua, apologies if that's not said correctly, who was selected among 50 students nationwide to have artwork featured in the College Board's 2024 AP Art and Design exhibit. The exhibit is a digital presentation of exceptional student creativity. Sophia's work was chosen from over 80,000 submitted art portfolios.
Mary?
Seven Westfield High School instrumentalists will perform with Region 2 band and orchestras in early January, having been selected following rigorous auditions. Congratulations to the following students, along with band directors Chris Vitale and Gabe Batiste, and orchestra director Craig Stanton. Anna Acelio for oboe, Region Band and Orchestra. Ethan Coe, violin, Region Orchestra. Nathan DeBole, trumpet, Region Band and Orchestra. Christian Bonapane, French horn, Region Band. Lucas Chalfant, French horn, Region Band. Brianna Crispino, French horn, Region Band. Liliana Lincoln, clarinet, Region Band.
Kent?
Thank you. As winter is upon us, the district wants to remind the school community of its inclement weather procedures, available under district information on the district website. In the event of emergency closures or changes, the district will notify all staff and families via text, voice call, and email. Updates also will be posted on district and school websites and district social media channels. Please familiarize yourself with these inclement weather school closure procedures so that we can all stay informed and stay safe this winter. Happy snow.
Brennan?
Yep. Online registration for the 2025-26 school year is now available for kindergarten and grade 1 students. Please visit the student registration portal on the district website to access all the information and forms needed to secure registration for a secure registration process. You don't have an incoming kindergartner or first grader, please help spread the word to friends and families and neighbors throughout Westfield.
Kristen?
The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Westfield is accepting submissions of original work from elementary and intermediate school students for its annual essay, poetry, art contest. This year's theme is Building Bridges to the Beloved Community. For entry details, please refer to the elementary and intermediate guidelines posted on the What's New in Our Schools portal on the district website and included in the Principal Friday newsletters. The deadline to submit entries to your school's main office is Thursday, January 9th. Thank you.
Sonal?
All Westfield public schools will be closed for winter break from Monday, December 23rd through Wednesday, January 1st. Additionally, all schools will have an early dismissal this Friday, December 20th. We look forward to welcoming students and staff back on Thursday, January 2nd, and wish everyone a healthy and happy holiday season.
And lastly, the next regular public meeting of the Board of Education will be on Tuesday, January 21st in Cafeteria B at Westfield High School, beginning at 7 p.m. The meeting will be live streamed via the district YouTube channel, which viewers can access on the board tab on the district website. The complete agenda will be available on Friday, January 17th, also on the board tab. And with announcements finished, we'll move on to a report by District Administration. Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Given all the student celebrations and recognitions this evening and the important board conversation that's going to take place regarding school start and end times later on in the agenda, I will keep my remarks brief as my gift to everyone. To begin, I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season filled with joy, rest, and meaningful time spent with friends and loved ones. Looking ahead, 2025 promises to be an exciting and critical year for the future of the Westfield Public School District and our community. Guided by our strategic plan, we will continue to build on the strong foundation already in place and advance the programs and initiatives currently in motion. In addition, in the months ahead, we'll present a referendum to our community, one that will significantly enhance our schools by providing students with the educational space and opportunities they need and deserve while ensuring the exceptional quality of education that defines Westfield. There is much more to come. We will do our part to keep our community informed through regular updates and presentations at board meetings each month, starting in January and leading up to the April 2025 vote. All we ask is that you stay engaged, ask questions, and most importantly, vote in April. Till then, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a joyous Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year. And to all those who observe other special traditions and celebrations, may our holidays be filled with peace, love, and happiness. Season's greetings and blessings to all. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. We'll move right then to the high school student representative report. James.
Good evening. Heading into winter break, Westfield High School has been full of excitement. The cast and crew of The Mad Woman of Chaillot had a very successful 3 nights and have already started preparations for their spring musical. Additionally, the No Place for Hate committee held their annual Seat at the Table event. Lots of great recipes and fun stories were shared at this event. Also, the choir, band, and orchestra departments also had their winter concerts. The SGA partnered with the Westfield EMS squad to hold a blood drive at WHS. Dozens of students and staff participated along with many residents in Westfield. Lastly, SGA held a very successful pep rally this year with lots of participation from students and staff, and we look forward to hosting our game show event in January. Thank you and happy holidays.
Excellent. Next, move to the report by board committees, curriculum, instruction, and programs. Kristen?
The SIP committee convened on Monday, December 2nd. The meeting included a program presentation by DEI coordinator Anna Munoz and discussions on feedback regarding proposed schedule changes and recommendations for the course designations, for certain course designations at Westfield High School. Anna Munoz, DEI coordinator, provided an overview of her work to support Goal 3 of the district's strategic plan to increase diversity, equity, and inclusivity across the academic and extracurricular programs. Her presentation, available on the district website under Spotlight for Education, highlighted several initiatives and professional development efforts. Some of those highlighted initiatives include establishing a consistent approach acknowledging cultural and religious holidays through morning announcements, read-alouds, Blue Devil TV segments, and district-wide slideshows. This ensures all schools recognize observances in a coherent and unified manner. Providing administrator and teacher training on culturally responsive education practices with tailored sessions for departments and for new staff. Upcoming professional development sessions will focus on supporting multilingual learners through DEI initiatives. Collaborating with both the district DEI advisory and DEI steering committees to gather feedback and also share resources. And working to reduce the disparities in academic achievement, discipline, and incidents of harassment among student subgroups. Mrs. Munoz looks forward to the meaningful work that lies ahead as she continues to realize the objectives of Goal 3 in the strategic plan. The committee also discussed feedback from community members and teachers regarding Dr. Bolton's recent presentation on the proposed high school and intermediate schedule changes. Dr. Bolton provided updates on the district's efforts to address traffic implications, including collaborating with the school administrators to develop a clearer procedure for student drop-off and pickup at Westfield High School, and partnering with the Westfield Police Department to explore recommendations for improving traffic flow during the peak hours. Lastly, the committee discussed plans to designate certain high school elective courses as honors level. This change would apply to third-year electives that require a 3-year course sequence, such as Journalism 3 and Coraliers, which have 2 years of prerequisites. Any approved changes will be reflected in the upcoming program of studies. Thank you.
May I add something? Just really quickly in the season of things. As the most recent member of the board, I just wanted to say thank you. I am a member of the curriculum committee. I want to thank you, Rob, for putting me on the curriculum committee. I want to thank Sonal and Kristen for your co-chairing. Kristen, in particular, I'd like to thank you for mentoring me throughout this process. Kent, I know that you're the alternate, but because of scheduling reasons, you're there 50% of the time to cover for other members. And so I feel like you're really a member of the committee. And I just want to say what a pleasure it is working with you, and how much I really not only enjoy how you comport yourself, but also the interdisciplinary skills that you bring, so that when you look at things, you don't only look at things through the eyes of the curriculum and as an experienced board member, but the financial perspective. I think that's just extremely valuable, and I've learned a lot from it. And finally, I just want to say to both Dr. Bolton and Dr. Weissman, I've worked with both of you for over a decade in so many different contexts, both personally as well as an advocate for the schools. But working with you at this level has just elevated my respect for you. And I just wanted to say thank you to you both for everything you do for the district, and for allowing me to participate in this way, and for helping me learn. And I wanted to wish you all a very happy holiday season.
Thank you. I almost don't want to follow that, but that's very nice. So we'll move to, in the worst transition possible, we'll move to a report by the Finance and Facilities Chair, Brendan.
Julie, you said it, we're good. Move on. So the Finance and Facilities Committee met on Friday, had, 20 things on our agenda to go through. Starting with the 25-26 budget, just looking at projections, health insurance costs are trending within budget, much closer to our budget numbers than previous years. This is a good thing, but we are continuing to monitor them, and our broker is working on projections for the 25-26 year for our health and dental benefits. We talked a little bit about capital reserve and maintenance reserves. The January the January meeting will be devoted to the audit and budget presentation, so I'm not going to go too far into this. But we are going to be able to put several $1 million into our maintenance and capital reserve accounts, leaving us with $5.7 million in capital reserves after the 24-25 school year projects. These are projects that this money allows us to do all the small things throughout the year without having to go out and ask the voters for additional money every time. Talking about the school year, the school election in April, there is no official date on when the election will be. If we follow last year's calendar, it'll be April 15th with a filing deadline for candidates in February 25th. But it's possible the Commissioner of Education may move that back a week because it conflicts with Passover, meaning the election would be April 22nd. We should hopefully have a final date on that sometime in January. If not, it's going to get real tight. And we are looking at, as we build the budget, what cap adjustments will be afforded by the state, as state health benefits have climbed about 15% this year. We're not looking for anywhere close to that, but we do expect some leeway with budgeting because health benefits have gone up statewide. When it comes to the referendum, also scheduled for the April election, right now we're in a holding pattern. We can't really do much until the state approves the projects. We submitted them back in September, and we can't do anything until the state approves those projects and allocates what aid they'll give us towards those projects. We're proceeding like we will get approvals on those, because there's no reason why we wouldn't, but we can't do anything or put them on the ballot until we get approval from the state. When it comes, then we moved on to Roosevelt. When it comes to the facade, the decorative GFRC panels are being installed as we speak, weather permitting. The first phase of the roof was repaired, and the warranty company has recertified it, so roof is back in commission there. When it comes to the Fab Lab in room 123, most of those projects are done. There's some small cosmetic things like permanent lighting that will happen during school breaks, but people are moving in and those spaces are being used. Next, talked about the Franklin Playground project. They're waiting on 2 pieces of equipment to finish their installation. The pour and play rubber surface was installed, and Buildings and Grounds will be purchasing mulch to fill in areas around the new equipment that were not included in that. Purchase order has been issued for the path at Franklin, which would be a handicap accessible path to get from the school playground level down to the school level. Right now, it's just one set of stairs. Next, we had a nice long discussion about the operating procedures for getting Chromebook repairs done, whether a student damages it or it just becomes inoperable. We work with the device shop in town to do all of our repairs, and we kicked around various ways to cover those repairs, as well as help ensure that parents aren't caught off guard by the sudden loss or damage to a Chromebook. Have we finalized that, or is it still in?
The SOP for this year is finalized.
Okay.
Yeah. It was attached.
Yeah.
So for this year, parents will still be paying for the cost
Right.
of the repair.
Right, but for next year, there's a couple different options that are kicking around to offset that, whether it's a fee at the beginning of the year or an insurance policy that might be made available. And then, as we'll see later, there's potential moves now, changes to the high school schedule starting for next year, and what the impacts of that will be to finance and facilities. We have to renegotiate a contract with our cafeteria vendor due to the change in how lunch will be done here, and busing will obviously be a problem, because busing is always a problem. And then our next meeting isn't until January. So that was about it. I know there's a lot on there, and the notes are in the board portal. Any questions? All right.
Excellent, thank you. Report by Policies, Personnel, and Governance. I think Layla?
So the PPG committee met on Thursday, December 5th from 3:45 to 5:15. Also in attendance was Mary Wickens, Charles Gelinas, and Dr. Gonzalez and Dr. Greer. The first item we discussed was the Westfield High School Principal Coverage Plan. We reviewed the plan to appoint Bill Logren as interim principal at Westfield High School, which will be effective January 2nd, 2025. The next steps in this transition include tonight, the board will vote on Mr. Logren's appointment. Tomorrow, December 18th, an on-site meet and greet will take place at Westfield High School to introduce Mr. Logren to the staff and the school community. On December 19th, Central Office will hold a transition planning meeting. Mr. Logren's official start date will be January 2nd. The committee then reviewed the athletic substance abuse policy. Previous guidelines that were posted on the Westfield Athletics webpage have been removed and replaced with Policy and Regulation 5600, which focuses on the Student Code of Conduct. The committee is currently reviewing the existing chart of discipline to ensure that the consequences for athletics and extracurricular participation are clearly communicated. Additionally, the committee is looking at protocols and resources from other districts to inform the development of a new athletics handbook. As part of this conversation, we also discussed the Spectator Code of Conduct policy, which all member schools of the NJSIAA must adopt for the 2025-2026 school year. This new requirement is in response to rising concerns about inappropriate spectator behavior at interscholastic events. Union County Schools are exploring a shared approach to ensure consistency across the region. The committee is waiting updates from Strauss-Esme, which will include the release of policy 9163 specific to spectator conduct. While no action is required at this time, the conversation will continue during the annual review of the Student Code of Conduct in the spring. The committee also briefly discussed harassment, intimidation, and bullying, HIB, and the role of the Board of Education. This topic may require additional discussion in future meetings. The final item on the agenda was a correction to the school day schedule for the remainder of the current school year. The document currently lists as an incorrect early dismissal time for a full day pre-K and kindergarten classes. The listed time is 8:30 to 12:30, but the correct time is 8:50 to 1 o'clock. The committee supports placing this revision on tonight's agenda for approval. The next meeting of the Policy, Personnel, and Governance Committee will take place on Thursday, January 9th, from 3:45 to 5:15. This concludes the report. Thank you.
I have a question. Could you please describe the scope of what was discussed relating to HIB?
Sure. Did you read the notes?
Yes, but since we don't give those notes to the public, I just want to make sure we're clear and that I'm clear, because I'm honestly very confused, and I just want to make sure we're all transparent in our efforts.
Sure. So if there were concerns about something that was in the HIB discussion, as per the Board of Ed handbook, it should have been addressed prior.
That's fine. I'm just making sure that we're on the record.
Right, because there are some things that cannot be discussed outside of committee. This is something that can be discussed outside of committee, though, but I just want to clarify that that's the reason why the portal exists.
Was there anything that could not be discussed outside of committee?
I don't think so.
Regarding HIB? Was there anything discussed outside of that? My understanding that the only thing that was discussed in committee was relating to a legal inquiry that Dr. Gonzalez made on behalf of a board member. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, well, was there anything discussed about HIB that cannot be shared here in the report? So could you just describe it?
I would actually disagree, because in the committee report, we did cite the legal artifact that our attorney shared with us, which is protected under attorney-client privilege. So I would not be comfortable disclosing that, but it is available for the board review in the portal. It's in the
Yeah, no, sure, I understand. I don't understand the question.
Well, I guess I am a bit concerned because we don't share with the public attendance or agenda as part of the BOE agenda, and we don't share the notes or the minutes, and I understand why not, and, that's gone back and forth, and that's fine, but it does seem like what was in the notes, as I understand them, are how we are allowed to vote or not vote in terms of abstention, or whether or not we're allowed to print or not print the HIB reports, and I'm just trying to make sure I understand that, because that does have an effect, and I kind of don't understand why that would be considered to be attorney-client privilege.
Well, I can answer the printing out of the HIB reports, because that was a concern that I had. That is confidential information, and my concern is that it's printed out and it could be left somewhere. And that was my specific concern. That had nothing to do with anything other than that there are children or staff members, and HIB is a private matter, and material should not be printed out, in my opinion, but apparently there's nothing to say that it can't be.
Right. Although, of course, according to the handbook, you're supposed to approach the only person who actually prints them out, which is me. But, the reason why...
I think...
The reason why I do that, though, just to be clear, is because...
I think before
we get these...
Hang on a second. I think before what I'm getting is a dispute on board procedure that I don't know that I want to have as a discussion here.
I think that it's more than a dispute about procedure. I think we have...
I'm going to suggest that
I think we need a process to do this, because...
I just want to call point of order.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna suggest that we take this just back within the committee discussion before it gets too far. Let's discuss it on the committee end, and then we can report back on that. I think that's a better forum for that.
I think that the committee is part of the problem.
Great, that's noted.
Well, is there a possibility to have like an executive committee where we can have a larger discussion, without
So
breaching?
along those lines, I have a question. So what I'm hearing is that Julie has some concerns and she would like them to be shared with the public. So can we do a HIB training with Isabel, like a public training? Can we do a board training again on HIB? We clearly need it. But can we do it in public or no? Is that a possibility?
Well,
Or
it
no?
doesn't matter what the training says, clearly.
Well, I'm just asking if we can do that. Is that something
All
we
right,
can do?
I think, all right. so
Why don't we send that back to committee?
Yeah, we raised
and
the point of
discuss
order.
that?
I think we're set on that. Let's take it back to committee. Let's see if we can come up with a discussion on this and work on it from there. All right? Okay. The committee reports through. We will recognize the public on agenda action items only. During this portion of the meeting, district residents and staff are invited to address the Board of Education on agenda action items only. These are the items, if you've reviewed the agenda, listed on the board agenda, and they're colored red, blue, green, purple, and yellow in those sections. There will be time afterward to to have public discussion on items that are not part of the agenda. That'll be at a second public comment once board business is through. The board requests that individuals sign in and state their name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation, if applicable, for the record, the specific action items they are commenting on, and ask that all remarks be directed to the board president or designee, not to individual members or staff. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals in speaking. Specifically, comments regarding personnel matters are discouraged and cannot be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. If a matter concerning a district staff member is of interest or concern to a resident, that matter should be referred to the responsible building principal, superintendent of schools, or the Board of Education, either by telephone, letter, or email. Although the board may not respond to items raised during the public forum, all public comments will be considered. Please note that if any member of the public becomes disruptive during the meeting, the board president may terminate the participant's statement. Continued disruptions may result in removal from the meeting or adjournment of the meeting. Each speaker's statement will be limited to 3 minutes in duration. All right.
I have to do a report.
It's okay, yeah.
Okay, so my apologies there. I did miss one report. So let's start with this. Seeing no public comment on this round, we will close public comment. We will add in the ad hoc committee report, sorry about that, and then move to board action.
Okay, thank you, Rob. On November 20th, the Referendum Communications Ad Hoc Committee convened virtually from 4 to 5 p.m. Board members Mary Wickens and Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz and myself met with administrators Dr. Raymond Gonzalez and Marianne McGann. The meeting focused on evaluating and providing feedback on the district's referendum communication efforts, including our work with Laura Bishop Communications and the Community Communications Advisory Committee. The committee reviewed the draft communications plan presented by LBC, emphasizing its fluid nature to adapt to both emerging needs and opportunities. The plan outlined key milestones, including collecting research and resources in November, establishing the campaign's foundation in December, launching the informational campaign in January, accelerating communication in February, focusing on voter preparation in March, and driving voter turnout in April. Additionally, the group reviewed various communication tools and materials that will support the campaign. These include a centralized budget and referendum information portal, print materials such as business cards, mailers, flyers, and posters, and digital content, including social media posts and videos. Draft logos and key messages developed by LBC were also discussed, with feedback provided to ensure they align with the district's branding plan and resonate with the community. The next meeting is scheduled tomorrow, virtually at 4 p.m. Future discussions will focus on stakeholder engagement opportunities such as involving athletics and visual and performing arts groups, and exploring ideas like hosting more coffee with the superintendent events. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move through some of the agenda items, please. We'll start with the minutes. I make a motion to approve the November 19th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. Do I have a second? Kent? We'll do this by voice vote. All in favor? Any opposed? And abstentions? That passes. We'll now move to the governance action item. Sonal?
I'd like to move item A under the governance section of tonight's agenda. Is there a second? Thank you, Kristen.
All right.
No comment.
No comment? Go ahead.
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Ken Diamonds,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Delinas,
Just given the complexity of these issues, and the confusion spawned by them, I'm going to respectfully vote no on all the HIPs.
Layla Morelli,
Oh, sorry. Yes, and I abstain from number 9.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
No.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, that carries. Personnel, is that Layla or Mary? I'm not sure which is. Yep.
I'd like to move items A to V under the personnel section of tonight's agenda. Is there a second? You didn't even let me ask, Kent. Kent, thank you. Okay.
Any discussion? Okay, Patty.
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes, I'm abstaining from item I.
Ken Diamonds,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Delinas,
Yes.
Layla Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
Okay, now to finance and facilities. Kent?
Hi, I'd like to move items A through Q under the finance section of tonight's agenda. Before I do, before I ask, I'd like to highlight some donations we received. The Westfield Coalition for the Arts donated $1,800 to fund a master class presented by Craig Staton, and they also donated $500 to fund a high school workshop presented by Ricardo Borg. So thank you to the Westfield School of Arts. That brings the school year donations total to date, drum roll please, of $65,665.66. May I have a second? Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Any discussion? Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamonds,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Delinas,
Yes.
Layla Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
Okay, next to policy items. Is that Layla?
Sorry. I'd like to move items A through B under the policy portion of the agenda tonight. Do I have a second? Donald?
Any discussion? Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamonds,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Delinas,
No to A3 and A4, yes to the rest.
Layla Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
No to A2, A3, and B1. Yes to the rest.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, now to curriculum instruction and programs. Kristen?
I'd like to move items A through C under the curriculum section of tonight's agenda. A is for 2 field trips, one at Wilson and one at Edison. B is for 3 student interns at Westfield High School, Franklin, and Jefferson. And C is for the acceptance of a grant to support comprehensive literacy intervention programs. Can I have a second? Sonal?
Discussion? Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamond.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Charles Gelinas.
Yes.
Layla Morelli.
Yes.
Sonal Patel.
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmeltz.
Yes.
Julie Steinberg.
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, I will call the board's attention to the notes for the record. There is no unfinished business on the agenda, but we do have one item of new business for discussion, which is a deliberation by the full board of the 25-26 school start and end time options. So just to introduce this quickly, as we know, there's been some discussions about the schedule for next year, both in high school and the intermediate school. Dr. Bolton had a presentation on some of the changes that were being discussed, I think it was at our last meeting. The board's function in all of this is to not so much get into lengths of periods and things of that nature. Those are generally things for administration to plan out, and some of them are things that are negotiated, as part of the collective bargaining agreement with the teachers. But our primary responsibility with this is approving school start and end time options. So we've asked Dr. Bolton to come by and present some of the options that were discussed a bit in the curriculum committee. And we thought, given the importance of this, that it would be a positive to have a full board discussion at this time. There's no action to be taken, no vote. What we'll do is we'll have Dr. Bolton present some of the options. Those were distributed to the board prior to the meeting. Then, obviously, the board can we'll just run a basic discussion on the options. Primary function of that is really to get Dr. Bolton some feedback and the curriculum committee some feedback on the path that we're taking, any next steps, any adjustments that might be worthwhile. So I guess we'll start with Dr. Bolton, and we'll move around with any comments the board might have.
Evening, everyone. Thank you for having me back to present something to you for 4 months in a row. I appreciate it. Thank you. So this is, as Rob introduced, this is our discussion about start and end times. I'm interested to hear your thoughts and opinions and to bring them back to the subcommittee. A couple of things. There is a handout. I printed it for everyone. That handout includes the proposed, so first page is proposed start and end times, and all I've done is given you a couple of options to discuss, and each one of those options is inclusive of each level of schooling. So it's the high school, the intermediate schools, the elementary schools, and Lincoln's schedule. I'll talk briefly about Lincoln too. Within each level, you'll see option A and option B for the regular school day start and end times. You will see early dismissal, option A and option B, and delayed openings for each level. Then that's the first page of that sheet is the proposed for next year. The next page is what the current is. I thought it was important for everybody to have in front of them what the current schedules are, and just for level comparison. And then the third sheet is just a matrix that I put together for everyone that does a comparison between the different options in terms of number of minutes of difference. So you'll see the current numbers of minutes that are split between, let's say, the start time at the intermediate school versus the start time at the high school currently. And then you'll see the proposals in option A, option B, and then I even did, at Kristen's request, I did a combined hybrid option. What if we did option A for one and option B for another? So that's not off the table. So just to kind of give you some, before I get into depth into the chart, just to give you some ground rules to level set, things that we need to consider as a board. What you need to consider is that this is a requirement. Setting start and end times is in alignment with policy 8220. That has to be done annually. That's the board's responsibility. So that vote would happen at the January meeting. As Rob said, this is just a general discussion about this important process. Couple of logistical things. You'll see that there's a time next to each schedule. There is the amount of time that students are in school during that portion of the schedule, and then the teacher workday. So teacher workday is not something that we can really play with. That is part of the negotiated agreement and determined by the negotiations between the board and the Westfield Education Association. So that workday is pretty set. Corresponding options, as I brought up, so in the design of these options, it was designed as like level A, or option A would correspond to option A, like the high school's option A would correspond to the intermediate and the elementary school option A, and option B's would correspond. However, when you start to mix and match some things, we might find some room or avenues that might create a more effective solution. I think we need to consider, so early dismissals, one of the things that was done with the early dismissal times for the 4-hour sessions, those are that by board policy and administrative code, we're required to have an early dismissal half-day that is 4 hours exclusive of lunch. So that's why you see the high school schedule next year will not have a lunch block during a half-day, so they'll have a 4-hour session. They'll come in, and 4 hours later, the kids will leave. The intermediate school, however, the way the schedule is set up between the 3 grades, they do have a lunch period built into that schedule. So that's why you'll see the intermediate school schedule is 4 hours and 25 minutes. Delayed opening times, some of the things that we work to resolve in these new schedules and these start and end times is right now it's really hard to even broadcast. We have to broadcast exact times for delayed openings. So you'll see as you watch the news on a poor weather day, something will flash across the bottom and it'll say 90-minute delayed opening for a certain district. Westfield's unable to do that because our times are all over the place for delayed opening. So what we tried to do was really organize that so there's a standard 90-minute delay on all levels. Same thing with the early dismissal days too. For some odd reason, the previous schedules had early dismissal days would change the start times of the school day, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we worked to fix that. Lincoln school schedule was really left untouched, especially in terms of start and end times. It's a pretty convoluted schedule where there was a lot of time and thought put into that schedule, just considering that it is a separate building for our central kindergarten and preschools. So we do have to consider families that have to get to other buildings in that. And that's something that we should consider at all levels when looking at these options. Time in between start and end times is definitely a factor that has to be considered. Traffic is obviously an option in the evaluation of all of these start and end times. And district transportation is also something that has to be a variable that's considered. Next year, the district is purchasing 2 of its own buses. Given available options and the discussion that happens tonight, the possibility exists to maximize these buses to operate at multiple levels. Any bus questions, I'm going to immediately look at Patty Ramos to answer. So next step is I'm happy to walk everybody through just to give you a lay of the land of the charts and then open it up for discussion and then accept any feedback that you have that we can bring back to SIP. So again, looking at this first page, you'll see option A of the regular school day for the high school is start time is 7:55, the end time is 2:49. Student option B would be moving that back 10 minutes, so that would just be a start time of 7:45 and an end time of 2:39. There's a typo there. Both of those are 6 hours and 54 minutes. I'll just go through the regular days. Intermediate school start and end times, option A, the proposed option A is a start time of 8:15 and the end time of 2:50. And the end time, the option B is 8:25 with an end time of 3 p.m. So you can see how that corresponds. Option B at the high school pushes the day earlier for high school and moves the day later for the intermediate school, getting us more distance in between the start times and the end times. Same thing at the elementary schools. It's just pushing it forward a couple of minutes to get us a little bit more separation. If you look at, so the other thing that needs to be considered too is that these start times, these are not drop-off times. Start time is considered the time in which students will be sitting down in their period 1 class. So this is different than drop-off times, and the district is also working on other considerations which were mentioned, working with the police, partnering with the police to determine better traffic flow, working with administrators to determine better drop-off and pickup situations. Also, some of the discussion Dr. Gonzalez and Patty and I have had are even creating an open school space early in the morning where we could serve a breakfast to students starting at 7 a.m. so that kids that want to get dropped off early and just have a quiet study could come to the cafeteria or the media center, and that would reduce the number of students dropped off too at the high school, so during those peak hours. So again, start times are students in seats during period 1, not drop-off times. So if you look at that matrix on that third page, you'll see that the first 2 boxes are the current, the next 2 boxes are the proposed option A, option B, and then a hybrid option C, option A/B. So in option A, for start times, you would have 20 minutes in between drop-off or start time for Westfield High School and the intermediate schools. You would only have 1 minute between end times. Option B, Westfield High School and the intermediate schools would have 40 minutes difference in start times, and they would have 21-minute difference in end times. So looking at the option A and option B. Yeah, so in option A, if you look at the proposed start times, the difference between the intermediate schools and Westfield High School for start time would be 20 minutes for option A. At the end time, there'd be a 1 minute difference. Proposed start times for option B between the intermediate school and high school, that would get you 40 minutes by pushing the high school back earlier and pushing the intermediate school start time later. So that's a 40-minute difference in the morning for start and a 21-minute difference at the end. If you were to look at like a hybrid of option A, so let's say the high school continues to open at 7:55, which is an option A, but the intermediate schools start with option B, you would have a 30-minute difference between the high school and the intermediate schools for start time, and you would have an 11-minute difference at the end of the day. And just understand, the end of the day times, there's only so much wiggle room you have to end the school day. There's only so many minutes that you're going to vary in between the end of the school day. So, 11 minutes is and the other thing is, as we've observed, as we've done observations of entry and dismissal at the high school and the intermediate schools, entry is definitely more chaotic than dismissal. Students are staying at the school, they're participating in sports and not leaving at the end of the day, they're meeting with teachers, they're staying for clubs, they're just hanging out at the school after dismissal. So there is a much more spread out amount of time for the mass exodus of the building than there is for entry into the building. Yes.
Do we know what percentage of the current high school leaves at 2:45 versus 2?
Yes, so again, it's a really rough estimate in terms of what's theoretical versus actual, because like I just said, there's a lot of kids that stay. Theoretically, though, it's about a little less than 30%
Stay
that
till
leave.
2:45?
Correct.
Oh, so most kids get out at 2?
Most kids choose the early start.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have off ninth period.
Correct.
Right?
Well, right, yes, if
So do we know
they're
how
doing a
many kids
9-period day. Or
Actually leave at 2:45? We don't know.
It would be really hard to say how many
Okay.
students are exiting the building at 2:45.
I was just trying to get a sense,
Yeah.
because right now it's only a 2-minute difference. If
Yeah,
you're
right,
focused
right,
on the
if you're looking at the end of the
2:45.
day. Yeah, so currently, the current end times, if you were looking at the end of period 9 at the high school and the end of the intermediate school schedule is 2-minute difference, right? So please discuss.
All right. I think probably the best way to do it is we just kind of head around the table. If you've got feedback that you feel like sharing, perfectly fine. If not, I mean, this will be discussed, I assume, the next SIP meeting?
Correct.
We'll collect
Yeah,
your feedback?
It's definitely on the agenda for the next SIP meeting.
So
all the
certainly
feedback.
bring out whatever might be coming to mind now. If things don't come to mind right away, there's an opportunity, through the co-chairs to share feedback with that as well. So I don't know if CJ, you want to take the first crack at it?
No, I just wanted to thank you for all the efforts undertaken here. It's pretty impressive, the complexity involved, and you've navigated it really well. So I just wanted to thank you for you and the whole team that's been working on this. It's been, this is incredible. But
There's a website called Time Duration Calculator, and it's right as a favorite bookmarked on my homepage. I want everybody to share in my,
It sounds like a great stocking stuffer.
yes.
I thank you too, and we'll discuss it in SIP. I'm sure this has been a very exhausting effort on your part, and thank you and the entire team.
Layla?
Yes, thank you. I know this is a lot, even when you were asked to split the days and the AB schedule. That's a lot. Is there any sense that there's a preference from the staff kind of across the board about option A or option B? And I know you can't make everybody happy all the time, and I know that's not the goal. It's really about like what's best for the students. But is there any sense that like option B seems more similar to the timing now? Is there a sense that there's a preference for that?
So I can't tell you that we've surveyed the staff with all of these options.
Sure.
I can tell you that there are definitely concerns about change, right?
Right,
And there are
sure.
concerns about what was once early and is now going to be later. I think especially, and that's my biggest concern right now is also staff, but also student understanding that
Right.
I think that, and James may be the perfect person to ask, is just the level of understanding that students have of if you start later in the day, you will end later in the day. And I don't know that really sinks in until you live the schedule, and getting out later is going to be different for a lot of kids, especially athletes and kids involved in club and activities after school. So if you were asking Jim DeSarno, he would say we should choose the earlier start option.
Sonal?
Just to that point, I actually, as one of the things that we were looking to do with the schedule change was having, recognizing that kids need a later start time for more sleep. And so I was looking preferentially at option A for that reason. While it's not a huge amount of time, it seems to make a difference that it would provide some extra time in the morning, regardless of then what happens on the back end. So it's going to be one or the other, but that was one of the goals we were looking for.
Kristen?
I echo exactly what Sonal said. So my preference for those exact reasons is option A, and then option B for intermediate and elementary, just to create more time in the morning for traffic.
Brendan?
We have a once-in-a-generation chance to fix some traffic on Rahway Avenue. Really, there's only two groups, the high school and Lincoln, that have parents crossing through the circle for drop-off and pickup. And maximizing the time between them is probably, it's preferable in my mind. Finding a way to make it so that at least that's dragged out as far as possible. It is going to change sports schedules. Practice schedules are going to start a little bit later. They're going to run later. Games may have to get pushed back a little bit. It's not the end of the world. Most of the time, it's still dark at 6 o'clock, so things really aren't going to change. It's the beginning of the spring season and the end of the fall season where we'll have to figure things out. But we've done temporary lights in the past when we have teams playing at the state championship level for the fall sports. So it's not something we haven't done before. It's something we can solve.
And we're talking about 4 minutes. It's not going to be an issue. It's 4 minutes. 2:49 versus 2:45.
Oh, yeah, absolutely no issues. I was looking at I was looking at the 3 o'clock and 3:20 dismissal. Yeah, so no issues there. The big change will be groups that are used to having that last period to start making their transition to
Right.
sports.
Yes.
Which there's no way to structure that in with a rotating block.
Right.
Ken?
I just want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. I missed this last meeting. So the high school day is now 6 hours, 54 minutes from 6 hours, 27 minutes? So we're
Correct.
extending the day, right?
Correct.
I read that correctly.
So lunch is longer.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. I echo having more buffer between the end days to alleviate traffic between Edison and the high school
Mhm.
and that kind of thing, for safety reasons. I mean, there was a fender bender outside Edison last week during one of the concerts.
Mhm.
So,
Mary?
I'll look directly at you, Matt. After reading it over, I do like Kristen's suggestion of A, for the high school, and B, for the others, to give more time. In the morning, the afternoon, even when there was 2 minutes, it was still doable, having had to pick somebody up at the high school, and then the other student just has to wait, and there's plenty of awnings if it's not great weather to just wait until you get there. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you for putting that all together. The colors make it work.
That's what I obviously was going to copy in color for all of you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
'Tis the season.
James, I don't know if you want to jump in. Board, part of the board, so board discussion it is. But all good? All right, that's fine. He's out of here. Right. Perfect. Well, look, you got as Dr. Bolton said, you got the experience. So, look, oh, sure, go ahead, Tom.
So I'm sorry if I missed this, because when we originally got this information, it was A for the high school, B, like all the way through A or all the way through B, but so we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we have to consider.
Consider,
Yeah.
because there could be some
Well, and that's,
hidden.
and again, I think we have to include Patty and Lisa Morasso in the next phase of this conversation, which is, does this impact transportation, especially, I mean, Patty's been planning for over a year to purchase these buses and really make it a more efficient system for us in terms of transporting students. So that has to be a variable that's considered as well. And that'll be discussed in SIP.
So just a couple things to, I think, wrap up. I just throw my 2 cents in. I'm very much for, later start times and more space between where we can get them if it's efficient. I really did like the discussion, or at least the thought process about having the school open earlier in the morning. I think that's also a traffic mitigation factor. I know if I ever drop my kids off, I see a line of folks just kind of sitting in the cars parked, which idling is not something we were supposed to do. So, but for a number of different reasons, including it's not particularly legal, but I understand why that probably happens, right? Because there's only a limited amount of parking spaces, there's only a limited amount of spots in the lot, so you want to get there in an early enough time. And I think one of the ways to solve the sitting in the car idling problem is to give somebody someplace to go, rather, especially during the winter months where the other option is being a little cold. So certainly if we can consider that as a possibility as well, it'd be helpful. And again, just to close out, I just want to make sure everyone understands this is a feedback session more than anything else. As Dr. Bolton said, there are a lot of other considerations to talk about busing, about finances. The positive of this schedule, I think, has also been that what's been formed has been formed with ongoing discussions with our students, with our teachers as well. So again, I'm sure we'll ask for another rounds of feedback as well on that. But again, I just think having the discussion here to help the committee was very helpful. So thank you very much.
Great.
I think you're good. Maybe we'll have to come up with something for January for you.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do. You got a streak going. So, so next item on the agenda is liaison reports.
Yes.
I know Julie has one. I think yes.
So last time I mentioned that as a board member on UCESC and our liaison, that we were considering purchasing 53 Cardinal Drive. That is the Lindenberry building all the way over near Route 22, and I am excited and very surprised that they moved like lightning, and we put in a purchase and sale for $7.25 million for the property. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to happen very quickly, but again, they're moving very fast on this. So it would represent a huge win for the board, for UCESC, for Union County, and obviously for the town of Westfield, as this property will immediately have a new tenant. Just of interest, they're obviously still going to be determining how they'll allocate this space, but in terms of what I'm seeing, I just see a lot of really fascinating parallels and things I think that we can benefit from, and I've shared some of this with Dr. Gonzalez and Rob, but they are going to be, first and foremost, housing and consolidating administrators and staff. which will, give them some benefits that we ourselves are trying to accomplish with our own initiatives. So I see parallel efforts in play here, and then students as well, which will result in both cost and educational efficiencies. It's also an office building, so especially for special needs students, a lot of the small spaces that we ourselves have built into our plan are already in play because of the natural structure of the building. And I think that was fascinating for me. I was very impressed with how quickly such a small team with such limited resources worked quickly and efficiently on this, and I'm very hopeful and optimistic for them and for our county. So hopefully more to come in January after our next meeting.
That's great. Thank you. Any other liaison reports? All right. Then we'll move to our second public comment session. During this portion of the meeting, members of the public are invited to address the Board of Education on any topic. As a courtesy, allow current students and staff of the Westfield Public Schools to speak first. Excuse me. The board requests that individuals sign in and state their name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable for the record, and asks that all remarks be directed to the board president or designee, not to individual board members or staff. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding personnel matters are discouraged and cannot be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. If a matter concerning a district staff member is of interest or concern to a resident, that matter should be referred to the responsible building principal, superintendent of schools, or the Board of Education, either by telephone, letter, or email. Although the board may not respond to items raised during the public forum, all public comments will be considered. Please note that if any member of the public becomes disruptive during the meeting, the board president may terminate the participant's statement. Continued disruptions may result in removal from the meeting or adjournment of the meeting. Each speaker's statement will be limited to 3 minutes in duration. All right. Going once? All right. We will close public comment. Dr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, while we're in the public comment portion, I did want to use the opportunity to formally recognize and welcome Bill Loughran, who's joining us this evening. Earlier in the agenda, he was approved as the acting principal of Westfield High School, and this evening, as the board approved his appointment, he will be joining the community tomorrow as he's introduced to the staff and students, and then working with the administration at the school and district level over the next 2 days to get acclimated to his new surroundings before assuming the responsibility on January 2nd. So I just wanted to acknowledge his presence and thank him for joining our team. We're looking forward to him.
Welcome. So with that, I think, now I will close public comment and ask for a motion to adjourn. Sonal motion, second? Kristen, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are adjourned.